This is an entire collection of what I just recently dug locally. About 25 bottles altogether and a couple other objects. I'll display them one at a time to explain the bottles. Two that are the dirtiest bottles out of the bunch I'm not keeping, I just kept them to check out the details for my records. And then I'm actually going to return them from where I dug them. Bury them back in the ground carefully in case anybody else ever wants to dig them in the future. Starting with the non-such. So non-such manufacturing company, Limited, Toronto. From what I've read, this is a furnace, or I guess fireplace, wood stove dressing. So they probably used it to help to restore and maintain their wood stoves at that time. This one would date to the early 1900s. You can see the mold seam all the way to the top of the lip. Also on the bottom, ignoring my little sticker, there's the suction cup from the automatic bottle machine. I find quite a few of these in the area. They're quite common, but I still like them. They're embossed. This one's a little different for me. I've never found one before. From what I found out researching online, it seems to be a English bottle. It's Formament tablets. I have the original lid on there, early screw cap. It is a automatic bottle machine, but I would date it really early 1900s. Can't quite recall too much more information about the guy that originally started this, but I think it was more of a cure-all than anything. It's a darker amber color. I couldn't open it up to clean out the inside, so I just left it because I like the original lid on it. I don't get that very often at all. It's actually in pretty decent shape. These two are just early 1900s, late 1800s. Actually, these ones would be late 1800s, 1890s. Oval medicine bottles. Quite common. They're a generic bottle used by a lot of different doctors and others for their products. This one's slightly larger and a little bit different. It's got the little window pane, probably where a printed label would have been. This one here, no idea what it is. Yellow glass. It looks like it was damaged by heat. Could have been an ornament. It's quite tiny, about the size of a quarter. This one here, I don't normally keep slicks, but I like the odd slick if it's, especially if it's older. I would guess this one's, see how the seam doesn't go all the way to the top, just over the lip, underneath the top of the top line there. It would have been a cork. I'd put it around 1880s, 1890s. It's got smooth base with the number 2 on there. Probably used for different household materials. One of them had white powder in them. This was a broken toothbrush. I'm going to clean it up later. There's some writing on it to try to identify it. It's a bone toothbrush. I would guess 1890s. And that was the top to it. Here we have milk glass. No manufacturer marks or anything. Slick base. I think there was a faint number actually. Yeah, one 177. I have found lids to these before. Probably 1910s, 1920s, maybe 1930s. The milk glass is a little bit see-through at the top. From what I understand, the older milk glass wasn't as see-through. It was a better quality. Here's another milk glass. This one actually says, if I can get it to, yeah, PD and Company, which I think is Pond Company. It's got the broken screw top, and the seam does go all the way to the top. I don't know if you can see that. Pond Company milk bottles I find a lot of. They're quite common. P&D Company, I've never seen that on the base before. But I've only probably dug about 30 of these to date. Value, I don't know, I'd probably put it at about $5. All the other bottles I've shown you, probably, besides the Formamint tablets, I'd put that at around 10. The other ones are probably $2 a bottle. Here's another household bottle, maybe medicine. It's got a outward rolled lip. The mold seam doesn't go all the way to the top. It's a blown-in mold, not an automatic bottle machine. Smooth base, nothing on it to identify it. It's just a $1 or $2 bottle. Here's another one, just slightly bigger. Same idea. Smooth base. Mold seam doesn't go all the way to the top, so it has an applied top. And it looks like it was shaped. Don't always keep spoons, but decided to keep this one. It's somewhat interesting. There is some writing on it, but I don't think it's going to show up with the lighting on here. I'm going to clean that one up to try to identify it better. This one I tried to clean up already. It's got a floral pattern on it, a flower at the top. I think it's just silver plated. It's got a little bit of discoloring to it. I wasn't able to clean it up very well. I don't know how to clean spoons properly. Here's one that's embossed, window pane. It's got a mold seam all the way to the top. It's cork, early 1900s. I didn't clean it up completely because I'm just going to return it to the ground. It's got it has damage to the base, big chunk missing, and I have other ones of these. They're somewhat common, except for there's a cousin to it, I think it's the Poline, or I can't remember now. This one's the Nervaline, prepared by the Catarazone Company, Kingston, Ontario. Nice bottle. I like these window pane bottles with the double collar on the top. From what I read, it was designed to be somewhat of a cure-all, especially for sore throats and other ailments with the lungs. This is my first one of these. It's first one of these intact. It's, I'm guessing, early 1900s, 1890s, because that's a lot of what I dug. It came out of that layer. Early tumbler, or I guess just juice glass. I don't know what they would have called them back then. It has a little rim to it. Glass is definitely not perfect. It's got some waves in it. And on the bottom there, it's it's smooth, a little bit cup-shaped. Don't know what the value of that would have been. This, I believe, is a creamer bottle. It's automatic bottle machine. Pretty sloppy top though. I would say that it's really early 1900s. Value, probably just a couple of dollars. There's a couple imperfections in the glass, which imperfections in the glass disappeared by the late 1920s, 1930s, after they perfected the automatic bottle machine. This was a really pleasant surprise for me. It's quite crude. It's really uneven. I'm going to try to show you that. A poison not to be taken. It's probably a 6-ounce one. Apparently they come in a lot of different sizes. 12 different sizes from what I could gather from reading about it. It's got the early base, and the seam stops just under the top, so it has an applied top. Really nice bottle, nice color. This is my 4th poison. I really enjoy digging these out. It just kind of fell out. Normally I have to scratch them and pull them out, but this one, when I yanked on some roots, it just popped out. It's got some bubbles in it. Definitely some imperfections. Love this bottle. Hope to find a lot more of them. Especially a couple of the other sizes. Help to complete a collection. This guy was same area I was digging, just a little further up in the layers. There was modern garbage on top of old garbage. This guy was in between the modern and old. He's vintage. This is min contents, 6 fluid ounces. It's Canadian. The min contents, that was manufactured, if I remember right, 1917 to 1957. So, and on the bottom, I believe, actually it probably was 1958 from what I read, but this one actually has a 59 on it, so I believe the age of this bottle is 1959, maybe really early in the year. I don't collect Cokes. I don't usually dig for them or find them, but this was just a happenstance. It just happened to be there. I don't mind them. Worth a couple bucks. From what I could tell online, $5, $10. The poison that I just showed you, I think that one's worth 30, maybe 40. These guys are really common. Vaseline, Cheseburo, New York. I haven't dug one up in a while, and then I dug 2 up. They have a lot of different variations. This one doesn't have the same embossing as this one. This one actually says trademark, and then the same writing. But you'll notice the hyphen's actually missing between the New York. It's in this one. They had a lot of different variations. The early ones for this bottle actually didn't have anything to identify them. They were just smooth jars, and they would have looked a lot earlier than this, probably with a ground top. These ones are finished tops. Automatic bottle machines. Probably 1910's. Worth a couple bucks each. There's a bullet casing. I want to clean that up too, so I can try to look up the details on that. And a marble. It's always nice to have one of those show up. Here's an ink. This one's a Carter's ink. USA, made in the USA. Automatic bottle machine. Again, the mold seam goes all the way to the top. Worth a couple bucks. Has some sick glass in it. A lot of these bottles do. Still working on perfecting on the removal of sick glass. Some of it's right in the glass itself, so you can't actually remove it. There's a pickle or olive jar. Automatic bottle machine. The mold seam again goes all the way to the top. It has a bit of a shadow. And on the bottom there's a manufacturer's bottle mark. Triangle with a C in it. So it's not a Dominion glass. That's a lot of what I dig up is Dominion glass. Again, just a couple of dollars for that bottle. This is one of my favorite bottle designs. I like the sloping top. Look at that nice big bubble on the shoulder, or near the shoulder. It still has some of the original contents in it that didn't wash out for me. Get them out at some later date if I choose to. It has bubbles, and you can probably tell a little bit the top's crooked, which is nice. It's nice to see those imperfections. The cruder the bottle, the more I like it. Cleaned up quite well, actually. It's in good shape. And like I said, I like these sloping tops. Clear. A lot of bottles from this age are clear, aqua, slightly green in color, amber. They came in all different colors. First time digging this. It's a Green Seal Select beer, worth $3-4, maybe $5. It has a elk on it. I think the company started in the 1850s, if I remember correctly. And perhaps had a stopper at the top, a lightning stopper, but that's just from what I read. To me, it looks like a crown top. And on the bottom, you can see that it's embossed. Buckeye Bottling Works, Toledo, Ohio. Welcome to Ontario, 100 years ago. Not the nicest bottle, but I've never dug one of these before. A lot of surface scratching and a lot of wear, probably from being in a crate with other bottles. And on the bottom it says, it's really hard to read. Basically says that there's no poison or something else in it. I can't remember now. Yeah, it's really crude. It's really hard to read. It's really worn out. Still a decent bottle. This one was exciting. So here we have a local medicine. Return to Dr. E.S. Hicks. Dr. Hicks was the first to work with radium back in the day. He practiced in this area, I think up until about 1905, and then moved to Brantford and ended up traveling the world. Interesting character. I'd like to find out more about him. But yeah, this is one of his bottles that was supposed to be returned to him. I put this one at around 1880s, perhaps a little bit later. It's if you could feel it, it's really imperfect, which is nice. There's a lot of bumps to it. I'll probably try to clean this one up a little bit more yet. There's some nice stretch marks on the top there, and the mold seam stops pretty low, right at the shoulder of the bottle, and there are bubbles in it. Nice bottle. I've gotten about 4 of these. I like the local medicines a lot. Value, I have no idea really. I'd imagine somebody that's interested in local bottles would probably pay a fair bit. Down to 3. And here, I found one of these before. I found a smaller one to this one. So this is Douglas Egyptian Liniment, Douglas Company of Napanee, Canada. Really nice honey amber color. You can see some of the bubbles in it. Looks nice in the light. Really nice color. Nice bottle too. Actually, couldn't find out really anything about this online, so if you happen to know anything, please leave any information in the comments. It's an early screw top. Again, the mold seam stop's pretty low, just above the shoulder. So it's an applied top, probably a tool top. Came out pretty clean. Smooth base with marking on it. I don't know if I can tell the date from that, but it's 1174A. Some of those codes actually tell you the date of the bottle. But yeah, this one I'd put right around 1880s. This one, no idea whatsoever really. I left it dirty, I wasn't going to keep it, but I'd like to find out more about it before I get rid of it. Windsor, and then it's really hard to read. I think it's Goko A-Nut. Goko A-Nut. Couldn't find out anything about that one, so again, if you know anything about that, let me know. It's an early screw top. As you can see, I obviously didn't clean it up. The mold seam does not go all the way to the top, and the lip itself is actually, that's been ground down, so probably really early 1900s, if not really late 1800s. And a whiskey flask for the last bottle. It has a lot of iridescent sick glass on it. Try to show you that. I won't try to clean that off. This bottle's not worth too much. A couple of dollars, maybe $5. It's a automatic bottle machine again. So I kind of have more automatic bottle machine than blown in mold in this collection. I try to dig the blown in mold, but I'll take both depending on the bottle. And yeah, you can see that the mold seam, if I could show you that, goes all the way to the top. This one's a lot darker, so it's harder to see. It's a cork top. Still nice. I like these whiskey flasks. This is a really dark amber. Alright, until next time, that's everything from my recent dig a couple of days ago. At about a depth of ranging from 3 to 4 feet going up a ravine dump slope. Alright, take care. Bye.